I'm Michelle from Broad-Minded Solutions. Welcome to my YouTube channel and for checking out my free course in affiliate marketing. Here on this channel, I share with you the exact steps and actions that I took to replace my weekly 9 to 5 in just 6 months. Stick with me and you will find out how you can learn to make money online, worldwide, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year with setting up and running an online passive income business. This next video is the first in a series about how to get started in affiliate marketing. We are going to discuss how important mindset is in determining your success in both business and life. We are going to look at a variety of factors that all contribute to making you a successful affiliate marketer, earning you thousands of dollars in online passive income. Discipline, consistency, determination, creativity, and accountability. We're going to look at all of those. Stay tuned to the end of the video because I will share with you my #1 recommendation for new affiliate marketers. But before I get started, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications. I post great videos like these and you don't want to miss all my helpful tips for how you can start an online passive income that can allow you to quit your 9 to 5. Today we're talking about the invisible toolbox that helps to make you successful. And it's something that people often overlook. They don't think of it as being something that's really important because it's not super flashy. It's not something that you can point to as like a tangible product that you've been working on, but it's really, really important. Everyone thinks of affiliate marketing as an in front of the camera, always in the spotlight kind of business, but there's so much more to it than that. There are so many challenges that present themselves when you're working in a non-traditional work environment like this, where you're working from home, maybe not interacting with a lot of people, and it's easy to lose focus and it's easy to lose your sense of purpose. Reading and exposing yourself to challenging beliefs and to new ideas is a good way to ensure that you don't get a limiting belief system. These intangible things that you're working on, like your belief system, like your mindset, those are the intangibles. You can't really touch them, but I will tell you they are priceless invisible tools. It has been said that we don't know what we don't know. So there's only one way to ensure that we don't end up staying like that. And it is very good for a business person, a wise business person, to continue to challenge themselves and expose themselves to wider perspectives and new ideas. I have found that it's really rewarding to spend even 10-15 minutes a day and schedule it reading something that's going to widen my perspective or deepen my understanding about something. Like I said, this is often overlooked because you can't really point to it and say, "Ooh, look, I did 10 minutes of reading today." But in the long run, all those new ideas you expose yourself to can be very, very helpful. No matter what your level of education or your experience, you should never stop learning. And remember, please, to stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to reveal my top recommendation for new affiliate marketers. And if you don't hang in till the end, you're going to miss out. So learning can be a very, very challenging thing. And it's important to understand that there are different phases to the learning process to help you process everything and fully understand and embrace where you're at as you go through learning a new task, like learning how to become an affiliate marketer. So the first stage is about being unconsciously unskilled. And that really is where you don't know what you don't know. It's kind of like that saying, ignorance is bliss, until you realize that it isn't. And then you're like, I didn't know that. I wish I would have known that. So it's not that we are stupid, it's that we just don't know that we don't know certain things. And that's kind of like when we start off and we decide we want to do affiliate marketing. We're like, yeah, it's easy. I'll start a TikTok account and I'll post videos and money's going to come to me. But we don't know anything. We don't know how to structure videos. We don't know how to set up a sales funnel. We don't know how to contact companies. So we don't know what we don't know. We just think it's going to be easy. Stage 2 is where we become consciously unskilled. And that's where we're like, oh, crap. I know I don't know everything. And there's a lot for me to know. So it can be a little bit discouraging at that point because you think like there's this giant mountain you have to climb and you don't know how you're going to get to the top. The thing is, it's good to know that you don't know something, because then you can always do the important thing, which is get training, learn, educate yourself, ask questions, ask for help. It can be a little discouraging and overwhelming though in that stage. Now, stage 3 is where you are consciously skilled. And that means you know what you're doing, but you got to use this. You got to think about it. And it's about experimenting and trying and trial and error until you learn how to do it. So you know what you're doing, but you have to think hard about it. So it doesn't come easily to you. You actually have to think about it. And if somebody asks you to explain something to you, you probably are kind of nervous because you're afraid that you're gonna not reveal all the information that you're asked to reveal. And finally, stage 4. Stage 4 is where you are unconsciously skilled. That means you know what you're doing. And if somebody asks you for help, great, you're confident enough in your skills to explain to them what it is that they're asking you to do. You are continuing to practice, you are applying your skills to new situations, and you are becoming confident in what it is that you now know you can do, and you can do without thinking about it. And eventually, if you persist, if you are very, very much dedicated to learning the skills of affiliate marketing, you can move to stage 4 in a relatively short period of time. I mean, I always say you have to keep learning, but I do feel comfortable in what I've learned to this point to say that if somebody asks me to help, I'm more than capable and qualified to give them a hand. And that's where I want all of you to be once you're done this course. So in order to help you understand what this journey of learning is going to be like, it's often valuable to look at the emotional challenges that you go through when you're learning. So this visual that I have up on the screen here does a pretty good job of representing the journey that you're going to go on every time you learn any new skill, whether it's affiliate marketing or baking or water skiing or anything. So the different stages of learning do have these accompanying emotional experiences that go with them. So let's look at the first one there, uninformed optimism. You don't know what you don't know, you're excited about this new journey, and you are just optimistic because you don't know any different. But once we get started, we become aware that there's a lot we don't know. So we go from, it's gonna be great, I'm gonna make a lot of money, it's gonna be awesome, to, oh my goodness, look at all this stuff I have to learn. How am I ever gonna do this? And that's when you move into informed pessimism. So, informed pessimism. You go through the training, maybe multiple times, you start to struggle a bit to put it all together and understand what the process is. You get frustrated. Those are normal feelings that you experience, and I'm gonna tell you that based on my own personal experiences, it does get better. You will figure it out and you will be successful. But you know, when you're down here in this stage of informed pessimism, it can seem pretty overwhelming. This is why the training that you get in programs like the 15-Day Business Builder Challenge and also Freedom Breakthrough, which are the 2 courses that I promote, give you the options to learn the skills. The other great thing is you have access to this free course that I'm putting out for you, and combining those elements together is going to help you to get this figured out and get your business up off the ground and running. At this point, you've moved into the valley of despair because you're aware that you know how to do things, but you absolutely haven't been able to see any proof of it yet. You know you still have a lot to learn, and you're a long ways before what you think is going to be something successful happening. You're looking for proof of your learning and of your skills, but it doesn't come right away. And that's when it's actually most challenging. The proof that you're doing it right, the proof that you didn't make a mistake by trying this new business, the proof that you can be successful, or that you at least have hope that in the future things are going to turn around and this is going to do what you want it to do. Make money, create second income, relieve financial debt, all those things, all those motivating reasons that you went into this for. Right now it feels pretty hopeless that you're going to be able to accomplish that, but hang on. This is the place where people quit. This, overwhelming sense of desperation But if I can give you one piece of advice, I would say this. Don't focus on numbers like how many followers, how many leads, how many commissions. I've been doing this for, enough time to know that every time I started thinking about, oh, I've been doing this for a week and I didn't get any followers, or I've only been doing this for a month, where's the money? I have no leads, nobody likes me, nobody's buying in. There's so many things that you can do to bog yourself down, and that is absolutely a mindset that's going to bog yourself down. So you have to push through. You have to be determined. This is where you're at your lowest, but right here is where you dig your heels in and you fight. Because this is going to work if you're consistent, determined, and you keep showing up every day. But that's the hard part. After you get through that, you start moving towards informed optimism, and that corresponds with where you are consciously skilled, which means where you have to think about doing things, but you know how to do them. And, for some of you, it might be getting your first commission. For some of you, it might be hitting 1,000 followers. For some of you, it might be hitting 500 followers. And it's important that you just keep going on. You, at this point, don't consider yourself an expert, but you are feeling more confident in your skills. Now, I'm going to tell you that the very first commission I earned, that's where I started to feel like I knew what I was doing, but I still had to think about it. I remember I got the email, and at the time I was promoting a program called 15 Seconds Free Leads. It cost $1, so my commission was a whopping 40 cents. So I opened up my email, I'm looking at my phone, and it says, you just earned a commission. Well, let me tell you, I was so excited. I ran outside, yelling and screaming in my backyard, hooping and hollering. I did a cartwheel. I fell flat on my ass, knocked my head. The kids come out of the house. They're like, Mom, what's wrong? I'm like, I earned a commission. It worked. Somebody believed in me. And they just looked at me and shook their heads. I mean, they said, yes, Mom, that's great. But for me, that was a small victory that let me know that I was on the path to success. And even though I still had to work hard for it, I knew that something good was coming. And then you move to success and fulfillment. And that is the cool spot. Now you can slide backwards on a journey. It's not always going to be forward moving. Right after I got that commission, there was a big lag. Like 2 weeks where nothing. It was like crickets. I was super discouraged. I had no leads. I had no commissions. And what I want to plant in your head is that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And if you are ready to quit after 3 weeks or 2 months, that's not something you're going to win at. And this is not for you. Commit to something longer. Commit to 6 months of showing up daily, posting consistently, working on yourself, making yourself follow up on all the boring things that don't seem to be important or aren't as much fun as maybe making videos. I bet you'll be surprised where you end up in 6 months. Another very important tool in your invisible toolbox is your mindset. And there are two very different kinds of mindsets. One is called a growth mindset and the other is a fixed mindset. And I'm sure you can anticipate just from hearing the name that there's one you really want to have and there's one that probably is going to hold you back significantly. So let's talk about a fixed mindset first. A fixed mindset is one where people want to prove to people just by telling them about their intelligence or their talent that they have. These people don't like a challenge to come towards them because they don't want to fail in front of people. They see that as a sign of weakness or a sign of not being capable. They avoid anything that they consider to be hard work. They want things to come easily to them because they've accomplished this so far. And they treat criticism as an attack. Further to that, they are also threatened by other people's success. And I do have to tell you that from, a standpoint of being an affiliate marketer who's just beginning, it can be really, really discouraging. And sometimes it even happens where we look at other people's successes and say, well, he doesn't deserve that, or I could do that better. I don't understand why she's having that amount of success. And we really have to get out of that because it's not healthy, and it certainly doesn't help us to get farther along in our chosen online business career. People who have a growth mindset, on the other hand, they definitely look at their experiences differently. They judge their experiences in terms of learning experiences and what they can positively take from something rather than failure and success. So people who have a growth mindset, they want to improve their intelligence or their talents. They want to engage in challenges that actually push them farther and help them to grow. They persist in overcoming obstacles when things come at them instead of saying, I don't want to do this, or that's too big, or anything else like that. They also treat criticism as an opportunity to learn and grow. And it's a chance to bring about positive change. And finally, instead of being discouraged by other people's successes, they are absolutely encouraged and inspired. So, when I see somebody who's just rocking it, crushing it, I think to myself, wow, look at him go, or look at her go. And I want to be like that. I want to, get my feet on that same kind of a path. So you really want to make sure that you take that other perspective and look at it that way. So one of the things I do in my life is I'm a teacher and a coach, and I've spent a lot of time around young people. And I have to tell you this, one of my favorite quotes that I share with my athletes is from Michael Jordan, and we all pretty much know who that guy is, right? He says, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I've missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And that's so powerful. When you think about all the learning that happens from the times where you aren't successful, you could have gotten discouraged, but if instead you learn from those things and move forward, that's pretty powerful for sure. He also says, I can accept failure. Everybody fails at something, but what I cannot accept is not trying. And so in order to move away from that fixed mindset into a growth mindset, you have to say, I don't know if I'm going to be successful, but I'm definitely going to give it a try. And that's pretty powerful advice. The other thing that is involved in growth mindset is this idea of if you don't take a risk, there isn't going to be a reward. And that also is something to really keep in mind. It's scary starting a new business. It's a risk. You're putting yourself out there. A lot of people worry about being judged and that sort of thing. But we have to learn to push ourselves beyond our comfort zone, because that really is where learning happens, right? And, if you don't do something that involves an element of risk, you're not going to change. You're not going to grow. So think about it this way. Everybody says, oh, I want to win the lottery. Well, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. And maybe the risk is as small as $1. $1 to buy a lottery ticket. But if you don't spend that $1, you're never going to have the opportunity to win a lot of money because you haven't spent the $1. And every time you don't take an opportunity that presents itself. So, you're sitting on the other side of the screen as I'm talking to you, and you're thinking about affiliate marketing. Investment is low. What are you risking? Well, the time, the little bit of money that you put in, and then putting yourself out there for people to, interpret, to receive or reject. That's the risk. And look at it this way. You're going to learn a lot of new skills as an affiliate marketer. You will learn how to create a sales funnel, how to set up a web page, how to, do copywriting, how to set up an email autoresponder. And it takes time to learn those things. And the results are not necessarily really immediate. You might not see them right away. But I will tell you this. If in the end you accomplish something significant, then the time that you've risked to learn those new skills can have significant financial rewards. And that is the idea between risk and reward. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is the importance of having gratitude. It's very difficult sometimes to find a way to get that fuel to keep going when you're struggling, when you're challenged. And I find that gratitude is the thing that gets me through the dark times. Looking in the mirror and saying to myself, I am enough. what I can offer is enough. What I bring to the world is enough. And acknowledging and delighting in other people's successes can also help you to kind of like avoid the bitterness and the resentment that you might feel when you're not having your own personal successes. If you can see people who are having success, instead of being bitter about them being successful and you not, why not turn it completely around and say, wow, I'm really thankful that he's having success, or I'm really thankful that she is crushing it over there, because that's my proof that I can do it too. And it allows you to focus on positive things. You know, maybe you might not be at the level of success that that person is, but maybe you have something in common with them, and that's the proof you need that if you keep going, you can get to that level too. So gratitude is something else that helps to move you towards achieving those desired goals that you have. It's definitely something important in your invisible toolbox. Another skill that you should have in your invisible toolbox is the ability to set goals. And goals are something that are super important because they keep us focused and they keep us moving forward. So I often equate accomplishing big goals to climbing a mountain. And how do you climb a mountain? Well, you climb it one step at a time. I have a couple quotes actually, that I always keep in mind when I think about getting started on something big, a big goal I want to accomplish. The first one is, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, and then one day you look back and you've climbed a mountain. And that was said by Tom Hiddleston. He's an an English actor who plays Loki in the Marvel Avengers series. On the flip side, when we lose our motivation, small accomplishable steps easily completed within 5 minutes can often help us get our motivation back. And that's called discipline. And I have another quote that I often relate when it talks about goal setting and the importance of, you know, getting your eyes set on something that you want to accomplish. It says, you don't climb a mountain without a team. You don't climb a mountain without being fit. You don't climb a mountain without being prepared, and you don't climb a mountain without balancing the risks and the rewards. And you never climb a mountain on accident. It has to be intentional. And that one was said by Mark Udall. He's an American politician. And I think that really summed it up pretty well, the importance of goal setting. If you want to accomplish something, it has to be intentional. You have to think about it. You have to set your sights on something. And there are people and tools and skills and resources that you're going to access along the way, but it has to be intentional. And that's really important. Now, sometimes one of the biggest obstacles in climbing that mountain and accomplishing that goal is finding the motivation to start. And that's where discipline comes in. And it's really important to have discipline, because sometimes the hardest thing to do is actually to get started on working your way towards that goal or climbing the mountain. So the first 5 minutes of anything is the hardest part of a task, because that's where people have the most difficulty in getting started. 4 out of 5 people who procrastinate find that just getting started can be the most important obstacle that they can overcome when it comes to something important, something they really want to accomplish, a goal that they've set for themselves. In some ways, procrastination is like a natural tendency, really. We avoid what we think is going to be difficult, but the longer we avoid a specific task, the more anxious we feel about continuing to put it off. And then we've created this negative feedback loop where we put something off because we don't know how to start. We feel anxious that we haven't started, and then we know that we have to get started, but now we have all these additional anxieties because we just can't get over the first obstacle, which is getting started. Enter the 5-minute rule, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy technique that can trick you into getting started. So I teach English, and my students generally don't like to write or read. That's just kind of the rule. And so I've developed this little trick that I use where I say to them, okay, for the first 5 minutes of this task, I don't want you talking to anybody. I don't want you on your phone. I don't want you flipping through books. I want you to just put something down on paper. I'm going to set my clock for 5 minutes. When you hear the buzzer goes off, buzzer go off, that's when you're ready to get started on either taking a break or continuing on. Setting a goal, something that you can accomplish inside of 5 minutes, sometimes is all you need to get going on a task, because all you have to do is accomplish 5 minutes and then you can walk away. I always say that to my students. If after 5 minutes you're done, you've had it up to here, you can't work anymore, guess what? You're allowed to walk away and start something new. But what I found over time is that most of the time when kids get started, when people get started, if they can make it through those first 5 minutes with the promise of quitting if they don't like it afterwards, they usually continue. At the end of the 5 minutes, when that timer goes off and you've accomplished getting started, you experience a sense of success, of satisfaction. Yes, I did it. And what I know about learning is that success breeds success. And if you have success at something, you feel fired up. You feel a sense of accomplishment. You feel this sense of possibility. I can do more. And a lot of times, probably 8 out of 10 times, when students get to the end of that 5-minute timer and they've had success because they've made themselves sit down and get started, they keep going. And that is pretty awesome. Success breeds success. Even a small victory can be enough to fuel you forward. The next thing I want to talk to you about also is the importance of scheduling. Because many people fight the idea of a schedule. They say, it's too restrictive, I don't want to be scheduled, I want to have flexibility. But what they don't understand is that scheduling is the first step towards respecting yourself. If you write down all the things you have to accomplish in a day, you will find that you have more time for yourself at the end of the day. If you establish a schedule for your daily routine, you can become really efficient and really carve out personal time. And that personal time is what refreshes us, revives us, gives us energy to continue, makes us who we are. And if we don't have time for us, we don't have time to give to somebody else. And that's pretty important. Stephen R. Covey suggested a paradigm shift in a demonstration he did in front of a group that he was speaking to. He had a large beaker, and he had a small beaker with small rocks, and he had a pile of large rocks. And he called somebody up from the audience. He said, here, put these things into the container. And so the only rule was that everything had to fit under where the lid would go. And the volunteer came up and started with the small rocks, poured all the small rocks into the bucket, and then had to put the big rocks in. And the person who was called up, the volunteer, found that when they put the small rocks into the container first, the large rocks wouldn't fit. So then Stephen Covey cleared the table and he brought out another set of containers, small rocks, large rocks, and he asked the person, the volunteer, to put the small rocks in after the big rocks had been put in. And lo and behold, when you put the big rocks in the beaker first, in the container first, and you put the small rocks in on top, everything fits. And the life lesson that you can learn from that is, if you schedule the big things, the important things, the things that have to happen, the little rocks are going to fill in all the spaces and everything is going to get done. And then some. That's a pretty cool comparison, a visual to have in your head of how to go about scheduling your day to accomplish what you need to get done. Essentially, if we allow the main focus of our life to be overtaken by small things, we're unable to fit the essential major components into our lives. So scheduling those big rocks first allows everything to get done. Creating a schedule can allow you to fit all the important aspects into your life, and it allows you to set boundaries with your time, and it also allows you to have lots of time to be you, which is the most important driving aspect behind your success, is being your authentic self. Another key tool to have in your invisible toolbox is that sense of responsibility to do the boring. Because guess what, people? Boring pays the bills. We've already established the importance of scheduling as a way to fit in all the important tasks that need to be done in a day. But scheduling is important for another reason too, because it gets the things done that have to be done. There's always excitement at the beginning of any new venture, like affiliate marketing. And there's all these rushes and excitement that come with starting something new. But the true challenge lies in being able to be persistent and maintain your focus for the remainder of the journey. You might lose interest in the day-to-day mundane tasks that are required in any business, but boring is what pays the bills. Finding the discipline to stay consistent and follow through on all the important things that have to be done that might not be as exciting as some of the other things that are involved in this business is a key element to success. It's a key element to success in any field, actually. There are many exciting elements to an online affiliate marketing business, but it's truly the boring work that keeps us moving forward and keeps us profitable. And if you lose track of that, your business is going to stop being profitable. Adopting a practice where you prioritize the top 3 tasks that you need to do in a day helps you to accomplish a lot at the end of a day. And especially since we try to avoid the boring things, if you look at your schedule realistically and decide what the 3 most important things are, even if it is something boring, you get it accomplished. I call this my T3, my top 3 tasks. And if I do a T3 every day, think about the power of that. T3 times 365. That's a potential for 365 top 3 tasks that I could accomplish in a day. Now, yeah, there are going to be days where you won't get all 3 of them accomplished, but if you focus your days around getting the top 3 done every day, that is a lot of actionable steps accomplished at the end of 365 days. It is a recipe for success, and it will ensure that your business keeps moving forward in a positive manner. Boring pays the bills, and T3 is one way to accomplish that. Okay, so we've talked about a fair number of tools that fit in that invisible toolkit. And so I just want to leave you with some closing thoughts before I wrap this up. Productive business people rarely have chaotic personal lives. There's a serenity in organization and a peace of mind when you have sufficient time to do the big things, the things that need to be done. Those are the things that move you towards accomplishing your goals. And scheduling can help with that. Including time to nourish your personal, your emotional, your intellectual, and your spiritual health is essential for success. Because we cannot give to other people if we have not given ourselves enough first. Celebrating victories, no matter how small, is an excellent motivation to moving us forward. Success will breed success. Being open to change, to new ideas, to new processes, something that is essential. You cannot accomplish something new if you're not willing to try things you've never tried before. And finally, I would encourage you to be patient. Time is necessary for all things to be realized. If you are dedicated, if you are consistent, if you show up, things are going to start happening for you, and they are going to be positive.